Hello.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Oh my God. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the commentary zone at night. It would be good if I had on my headphones. Sorry if you can't hear me, but welcome to the commentary zone at night. As you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a little thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you're aware of every time we put out new content. And if you didn't hear me before, click a thumbs up, click a subscribe, click the notification bell, tell a friend, have all of y'all come on in to our little chickadee chats. All righty. I don't even have anything printed out. Everything is still on my phone. My phone needs charging. I'm a mess today.
So was his reunion. Especially so was Scott and Contessa.
You saw I had to put on the thumbnail. I'm so confused. I think Kieran said it best.
hmm He did. He's like,
He
dude,
summed it up.
he's like, there's been 10 stories in
Yes.
one day.
Yes. And actually, he could have been the reunion. Just what he said.
Yeah. Because like if you can Contessa has been consistent throughout. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, his story changed like depending on who was asking him the question, if we're being honest. If we're being honest, depending on who was
Mm.
asking the question, his story changed.
Yes. And I did like when Andy looked over at Curtis and was like, "This is the story that you're
Hanging
believing?"
on to. Right. This is the story you're hanging on to. This is the story that convinced you. I was like, well, like you said it, I didn't.
Well, at least Andy actually was reflecting like my thoughts. I was like, "That's it.
You
Come
know what?
on
I'm gonna
now."
say this. This was Andy's best reunion in a while.
Yes. Yeah, because I think he was so bewildered throughout most of it.
I was too because he asked questions when he needed to, but it's like for me, he
Mhm.
was actually the host and like the moderator, but he let the ladies kind of go at it. He didn't like
Mhm.
over talk or really interject himself.
True. But okay, these ladies, they have their back and forths, probably with the exception of Heavenly, who seemed very restrained this reunion. But they don't take it to a level like some other shows do. I think they still remember that they're medical professionals.
Yes, they
Jesus.
no, they do. But it was just interesting the fact that it was a good flow.
Mhm.
It was a good conversation. Like you barely noticed Andy was there. If you think
Mm.
about it, I really don't remember the reunion for Andy. I remember the reunion for Scott and Contessa, Heavenly. I remember for the cast, which
Yeah.
makes a very good reunion.
But did we learn anything new in this final segment?
Well,
Uh,
no, because this was just like a wrap up. To be honest, because we learned
mhm.
everything we need to do. Um, what we needed in the first two installments. So I was okay with this one. I'm like kind of laughing a little bit. It was like
Mhm.
basically this was the kind of third part that you expect. You had guns blazing in the first part. The second part was a little bit better, and now they're just wrapping it all up into a nice bow.
But doesn't this mess up your theory of like whenever there's a three or more part reunion, the first one and the last one are good and everything else in the middle is trash? I thought that they gave us a bit in each one.
See, that's the normal form. That's normally the way it works out. This one, for some reason, but this is not Housewives either, so we have to take that into context. So
Oh,
it's a different cast with different temperaments because we have to realize these ladies really aren't trying to be reality TV stars. They're just living their lives as professionals, while the other shows they're trying to be stars and get to the bag.
I gotcha. Gotcha. All right, Jamal, do you want to say hi to our friends in the chat?
Yes. Tracy. Hi, Susan. Kelly. Trey. Paranormal Witches here. Just chat. Good to see you. Montana's here. Michael X. Always good to see you. And Black Lover there look like just popped in. So I think we're all up to date.
Um, I have one question for you. Did
Hmm.
Jackie give her new skincare line to everybody on the cast, or was it just Quad?
I don't know. Why do you ask?
Because they had a little segment where she went and saw Quad, like in between, like getting refreshed or whatever in the dressing room,
Okay.
and she gave her the skincare line. So I was like, oh, we're gonna see her giving out her like goodie bag to everybody, and it was
You
just
know,
Quad.
Jackie gave everybody their bag off camera.
But why they had to highlight Quad? What they trying to say? I thought she had good skin.
Let's go Quad coming back. And Jackie knows giving it to Quad on camera, she knows Quad has a gift of gab and will probably go out there and talk about it.
Okay, just chat. I was feeling this. I was feeling this. She's like, "Do I have lines?" And she's like, "Well, you will get them." What? It. Okay. All right. Quad's coming back next season. Okay. But
Hmm.
whatever you say, Jamal.
And you know,
I
and
don't
you know,
know.
and that's a good product placement for her. It's an extra commercial with Quad. Who like? Why wouldn't you give it to the person who's probably going to have the biggest reaction to draw attention to your product?
Okay. 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 I. Okay.
Good job, Jackie.
Uh-uh.
Good job.
Child. What else happened here? Okay, so I loved Kieran. Him and what, Anita? They didn't really
I
talk
knew.
much. Whatever.
But I did like that. Let's
She
talk. Let's
turned
talk
around to
about
both.
Neela. Let's talk about Neela. Like, so when Helen said, "So anyone can be a dentist," I'm like, oh, here we go. Go
But
in. She's like, go in. Go. I'm like, go do it, Heavenly. Do it, because she
but
shouldn't. That she
she
stepped. She
wasn't
pushed.
that hard on her though.
That's because Neela kind of backed down. That's because it was just like,
Considering how Heavenly is like this,
mhm.
I think she took it easy on her.
She likes Neela. That's why. And Neela knew not to press too far forward on that subject because Heavenly was too still calling her dumb.
I was almost suspecting that they might have prearranged it.
No, but
Just
it wasn't prearranged because Andy asked that question.
But no, didn't Anila make the comment somewhere that anybody could be a dentist?
They were in
I'm trying to remember.
DC. They were in DC, and it was
Oh,
it was that group of Toya. It was when Carrie came back and told Toya, and Neela said, Carrie said they want me on their side because I'm the most intelligent.
right. So wait a minute. That was before like her and Heavenly, like before Heavenly got to know her when Heavenly picked
Right,
her up in the car and stuff like that.
correct.
Okay.
She was
Okay.
still Team Toya at that point.
Right. Right. Okay. It was cute.
They're funny. And Neela's funny. She just kind of says whatever. But it was even funnier when she's like, "I'm just like my mom. No filter." Kieran's like, "Please, no similarities."
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
I
Kieran.
I was
That was
agreeing. He's
hilarious.
got a very sharp wit. I wish we could see like more of him because did he even get together with the boys like in I was going to call him Cecil's bar or anything like that?
I don't think he went to the bar 'cause I think he was working that day.
Okay. Okay.
Let's go couple by couple because it's just
Hmm.
easier to break this reunion down that way.
Who first? Who first?
Well, let's start with Jackie and Cecil because they ain't saying nothing. Um,
Jackie and Cecil? Simone.
Sim-
Wait, which
Simone
one?
and Curtis. It's the C's.
Wait, not Simone and Curtis. Isn't it
Jackie and Curtis.
Jackie and Curtis? Okay.
I get the
Child.
C's mixed up.
They're
Interchangeable.
interchangeable.
Interchangeable. That's really what it is. So see, Curtis was trying his hardest to back up Scott. I'm like, Curtis, stop it.
Exactly.
Um, Jackie didn't say too much, but at the end, they had the end with Reverend Dr. Jackie, and her little speech was good. It was good. I'm glad that she's acknowledging like she did play in a part between her and Simone, and she
Mm-hmm.
played equal parts of this. It's not just Simone,
Mm-hmm.
because if you watch during the season, to me, I felt they were both putting it on each on the other versus
Mm-hmm.
taking accountability on both sides. And I was glad that she said that. I'm glad that she's like, we got a lot of work to do, and I like the acknowledgement from her.
Okay. Do you think that they will actually make an effort off season to repair their friendship, or do you think this friendship has had its season?
I think what it is with those two, I think this is only the beginning because they each finally got that first step they wanted from the other one. They were both saying like, well, she did this to me and this and that, and I need her to come to me first, and this and that. It's like, well, no, you kind of both need to come meet halfway, get to the middle, and go from
Mhm.
there. And I think this was a good step.
Yeah. Okay. I was just kind of bewildered by Curtis that he hasn't learned his lesson so far, which indicates to me that you might be still doing all of the stuff that you got in trouble for previously. I'm just saying. Um, you've got mine too. Oh, Michael, I hope everything's okay. I'm keeping you in my thoughts and prayers. Um, who's next? Okay, the other interchangeables, Simone and Cecil.
I mean, Cecil was being honest, and I like the fact that he was really being honest with how he felt about the situation. I thought he spoke well. I thought he gave great advice, seeing like how like where they were. Simone reminded everyone that this group actually like helped save their marriage, so it's good to have these things out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed them, to be honest. I
Mm-hmm.
really did because I felt they were to the point, and it was no sugarcoating in this reunion. Overall, they all said what they had to say, and they just said it.
I think that these two, like when Cecil said, I saw shades of me and Simone when we were going through our stuff. And then Simone, she's always to the point and she's just like, you know, don't go down our road, but if you do, it was this group on this stage that
Hmm.
saved us. And then we did the work,
Hmm.
and I think that's what she was trying to do with that couples evening
Right.
during the season. I think she and her husband saw like shades of similarity
Yes.
with their journey, and then with Contessa and Scott, and they were really really trying in a high hand, not too physically involved during the
Right.
season, and then at the reunion they laid it all out. This is what we see, this is the help that we got, and we're here for you should you want to take it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't want to meddle too much because you could see what's going on, but you never want to tell someone to like straight up like your marriage is in trouble. But when Contessa started to tell the lady what was really going on, they felt more comfortable because they one of them had to approach the
Mm-hmm.
group to say, hey, this is what we got going on.
I find that this group really rallies around coupledom. They
Hmm.
will do whatever for the other couple that's in trouble,
Oh
you
yeah.
know um And oh Lord, Trey says, I'm convinced that Scott ordered a Martell Holt starter kit on eBay. Lord. Oof. Yep. His reaction was how but he's been
Yes.
saying that from down in the bar. Remember when Scott showed the picture of the girl on his phone, and he, smoothly asked, so, where are you guys at with therapy and stuff like that? And Scott shot him down. So,
Agreed.
okay, why was Latoya so mean this year? Well, do you want to start on Latoya and Eugene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's my thing. They annoyed me because they would just never flat out answer the question, like, what's up with your finances? And that's what it really is, in my opinion. There has to be a lot of stress to put all this work into a house that you can't afford and that you have to sell pretty much at a loss. Just be honest. That's a lot of stress. Yes, did you do it to yourself? You did, because
Mm-hmm.
you should know your finances well enough now what you can comfortably afford.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do with a $3 million house? And you went through the whole trouble of building the house and then putting your names in the foundation. I'm like, really?
Um, don't you suspect that they knew before they got into a $3 million home, like buying the land, doing the like which model house you're building or whatever? Didn't you know before that you couldn't afford that?
I think I think this is really a case of where you, instead of going with what's comfortably affordable, you go for your top. We're talking about the 99.5% of your range. Say your budget is 3 million, right? They came in at 2.999999 million. I think it's like one of those things. You afford it because it's within your budget? Yes, but was it too close to the top end of your budget? Yes, because what happens is when you go so close to your max range, you have to like keep working so hard to um just to afford it. Versus if you just come in at 1.5, you've been living lovely. Like you spent 3 million on the house, right? Like why not just get two $1.1 million houses and make money on the second house?
Can I ask a question? I'm have no idea what this is, but does anybody know how many hours a doctor works per week?
Oh, it all depends. Like see, you remember Eugene is an ER doc, so
Mm-hmm.
their schedules fluctuate. So I know a couple ER doctors, not well, and I've asked this question.
Mm-hmm.
So their standard day, from what I understand, is 10 hours.
Okay, so
Like you know how oh, I want to say, is it RNs? Like I've heard they will work 10 to 12 hour shifts,
mm-hmm.
and they do that 3 or 4 days, and then they're off the next 2 or 3 days. It's something they have like rotations. It's very interesting, kind of like firemen, how they'll work like 3 days straight, then have 2 days off or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so times 52. All right, say suppose, right? This is just rough. Remember Heavenly said ER doctors make 250 an hour?
Right.
So times that by 10, times that by 5, times that by 52 weeks.
Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
And
So I remember we did this one time. So you're gonna take 250 an hour. Oops,
yeah,
250 an hour.
yeah.
Um.
Times it by
Okay.
10 hours for the day.
So 10 hours per day
And then times that by 5,
times five.
right? And then so that's a week. So there's 52 weeks in a year. So times that by 52.
Okay, we never did it that way. We go that times 4.33 times 12. So he makes like if we're just using basic math, like
Mm-hmm.
this is all just speculation based on what we've heard on the show. He makes about $650,000 per year, but
Right.
that's not including overtime. It's not including
Right,
overtime.
right, right. This is like base. And look, ER docs usually have to do 12-hour shifts about 2 weeks a month. There you go. Okay. So they're on par with the nurses who work 12 hours,
Right.
12-hour shifts. Okay. So we're lowballing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
And
lowballing.
and then Georgia's income tax, it looks like it's 5.4%.
Uh-huh.
So we're going minus 5.4%.
2 weeks.
That leaves him around 614 grand. Then we have to take into account the feds,
Mhm.
and we all know they're getting their money. So, say he has what 550 per year, right? 550
Mhm.
per year. But then you have to go into the maintenance fees of the house. Has a house
Mhm.
that size, the fees are going to be ridiculous. And then you have to take into account that the kids are going to private school.
Wait,
So,
we can't leave the house yet. Don't forget community association
oh, I
fee.
was throwing all that in there. I was throwing it all in there, throwing all that in there, right? Then you take into account,
Oh.
you know, the kids are in the really best private school, which is great. Then you have taken into account Toya's tennis lessons. Mind you, this is all this stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
All this stuff. We haven't even hit mortgage.
Right. We ain't hit the car payments. We ain't hit food.
Mhm.
Somebody gotta eat,
Mhm.
you know. Toya's liquor budget, her wine budget. Oh, like
That's what
wow.
that's what I said.
And
That's
this
the
was
top
pre
thing.
and I'm just thinking about this like pre-pandemic
Mhm.
because of course pandemic would skew it higher.
Right.
Because they were basically living at the hospitals. But pre-pandemic was when he built this house and the mortgages would have been based on that, right?
Yes, because the house closed pre-COVID.
Okay. All right. But they would have had to do their mortgage thing before they broke ground, right?
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then
So,
but
but
then you take account.
uh-huh.
I was gonna say you have to take into account that they like the money he was making, right? Like when you owe 170 grand in taxes, and
Mhm.
they give you a year to pay it off, and you do it, you doing well. So my thing is, if you had issues with taxes in the smaller house, the less expensive house, what makes you think you wouldn't have the same issues, if not more, in the $3 million house?
I forgot about that.
You
Yes.
know,
They fell into the trap in the other house. The not the trap, the tax issue in the
right?
other house.
Hmm. That's why I said they went like they took what they could afford, and like
Mhm.
afford meaning you could do it. That means you get the afford this means you could do it, but I
Mhm.
definitely was at the top end of the range. And I did see a video with Funky Dineva saying like people in Atlanta will fall into the trap of
Right.
keeping up with the Joneses, but he's like the way he explained it, the Joneses are a little different there. He's like, because the access is not as wide. Like you could have like okay, for example, say you making $250,000 a year, right? You're
Mhm.
pretty much shopping and eating at the same places as the people who are making like a million plus per year.
Oh,
So
okay.
so it's not the money gap is not as wide as be like in a place like California or New York, something like that. So it's very you could make significantly less money but still have the same access because
Okay.
you're shopping. Like the girls who are making 250K and the girls who are running a million, y'all still shopping at the same places because you both can afford to be and eat at those places and shop at those places. It's just this person over here just happens to make more money than you, but you're at the same places. The exclusivity is
Interesting.
not the exclusive. Basically, what he explained is the exclusivity is not as deep as it is other places.
Right. Okay. I get you. Where did I keep Toya? DSJ
Hmm.
has a fair point.
Yes.
And then, Montana also said Eugene was probably less patient with Latoya last year with all of the like because when he was
Hmm.
talking about that incident with
Right.
the person, that needed to be intubated and stuff like that, um, like I felt for him.
Yes.
And there's no way you couldn't carry that home. And then
Right.
as Toya, as bad as she is, I know she cares for Eugene. She loves Eugene. And
Hmm.
she wouldn't want anything to happen to him. And
Hmm.
I know that that was weighing heavy on her as well. Do I use it as an excuse for her behavior? Maybe a little bit, but not all.
Right. No. I think it comes down to a combination of him coming home stressed, um, and him not really being able to come and bring that home and then talk about it to someone who knows. Like someone like Damon can come home
Mhm.
and talk to Heavily about it, and she'll understand because she is a physician. Same thing as
Mhm.
Scott and Contessa. So when he comes home, um, Toy is like probably doesn't want to hear about that when he needs to vent. So she probably
Okay.
wasn't giving him the emotional support that he really needed at that time.
Yeah.
And then you know when you take that and then you put financial stress on top of it because that's real. You could see the
Mhm.
strain. You could see
Mhm.
the strain on him and her because if he's stressed, she's gonna be stressed. And my thing is this: like, why should this man who's going out here and deal with all this and they have to come home and cook and clean and do all that stuff? I think he just hit
Oh,
his breaking point.
and in stark contrast, you have Anila and Kieran, who are in the same situation, but his private practice got shut down due
Hmm.
to government
Yep.
warrant government mandates.
Hmm.
And he's building his home. He admits that it went over budget, and he sat there and he admitted it was stressful because money was not coming in.
Hmm.
And it was so easy for him to own it, to say that. He wasn't sugarcoating anything. Was he giving us full details to the decimal point? No, but he was saying it like it is. And I find that it's something that's missing with Toya and Eugene when it comes to that aspect.
But the thing is, they're not trying to play pretend either. There's a stark difference to that.
Wait, who's
They're
not
not
trying to play pretend? Sorry.
Karen and Neela.
I okay, okay.
They're not trying to play keep up because even he said like, okay, the original budget was 1.5, and Neela just went and lost her mind. Basically, that's pretty much what it was. And he's like, it was stressful. It was
Mm-hmm.
extremely stressful because his practice was shut down because like he said, most of his surgeries are elective. So they
Mm-hmm.
went through all that. So I think they're just so comfortable with who they are and where they are in life,
Mm-hmm.
and they can be open and honest. Where Toya and Eugene, I always get this feeling, and I don't want this to come off sounding bad, but I really feel like they're inferior to all the other couples, like they're less than
What do
because
you
they have this
mean?
because who puts themselves through this to try to keep up with other people when they don't really have the means. Like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that's the way I look at it. And it's not to be rude, it's just to say this is the way it comes across because when you are comfortable where you are in life,
Mm-hmm.
you will do what's best for you, not what's best for the cameras or what's best to put on appearances. Appearances mean nothing if you are like really, really struggling month to month or one person's working and trying to make everything happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not comfortable. They're not comfortable. Okay, Toy is not comfortable with Eugene's amount of success. Let me put it that way.
But he's successful.
But he's not successful on the level of the other doctors. And that's
But
just
it
the truth of it. And because she's trying to keep up with the ladies and he can't do it.
but isn't he the youngest out of like even the female and the male doctors? Like you have to like didn't Heavenly say like I remember when Dr. Damon like did his time in the ER, but then he
Yes,
got there and he was able to open up
but
his own.
right, but that makes you realize the gap in age and thought process and maturity.
Right.
Toy is still playing the keep up game. You know what I mean? She's playing the
Okay.
keep up game, and where they are in life now is where they hope to be when Eugene is that age. But she's trying to compare herself to where they are now.
Right. What do you think about what Just Chat said? What about Quad going off on Toya at the end? Toya seemed shamefaced to me.
She did because Quad called it straight out.
Mm-hmm.
And Quad was sick of Toya putting down everyone else's stuff when she can't do anything on her own. And that's just the truth. Like what Quad is on her own, I'm like, okay, you doing it, and you making it happen for yourself, great. And Toya did talk a lot of mess about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
She really did.
And you've been saying this for a while, not just in the reunion, but all
Yeah. Oh
season
yeah.
long.
hmm And let's be honest, they needed Quad this season to bring that energy.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
And I like Quad. She's to me she's just hilarious. She calls it like it is, and you need that on the show because it can't just be heavenly. It's just because
Yeah.
you
I can't
can.
wait to see her house because I've only seen pictures of the pool area,
Right. I remember you telling
which
me
is
that. I saw the
really pretty. But I want to see like inside. I guess by next season she'll have time to like decorate and
right
furnish, and I want to see parties and dance offs again.
fun stuff.
Nice.
Who next?
Okay. Um. All right. So we
Heavily.
did. Well, you want to do Heavenly? I
Yeah.
thought we were going down the couches. Okay, so
Oh, we
cross
go ahead.
over to
No,
Heavenly.
Go down the couches. I
Because
know that's
then
where we're
it's
going.
yeah, then it's Contessa and Scott.
I mean, this pretty much this whole reunion was about them. I mean, communication is terrible, non-existent. Um, this was just this was just a regurgitation of the first two. We didn't learn nothing. We didn't learn
Right.
anything about new about the situation. Nothing at all.
Right. They're both lying. There's inconsistencies. She's going crazy. He's making her crazy. Gaslighting 101. And
Yeah.
Kieran, along with everybody, is confused.
Right. Next.
Yes. Okay. So then, do you want to start at the top with Jackie or
Yeah. Probably
okay?
tell
So
Jackie.
Jackie. Wait, did we do
No, we
Jackie and
did.
Curtis?
We
Right?
did them first.
Okay. So Heavenly.
Yeah. So Heavenly was quiet with this reunion mostly because it focused on contestant Scott, and she wasn't trying to speak on too much about that.
Mhm.
She said that in her lives on YouTube. So she was her entertaining self.
Mhm.
She
The
didn't like
kiss was the best part.
right, exactly. Her and Neela have a good friendship. You could tell like they're on a good path, and
Mhm.
Heavenly was good this season.
Yeah, she earned her paycheck.
hmm
She earned her paycheck. Okay, what did Michael say? Scott seems awfully secretive and no communication. Yes. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And I found it. I didn't like it that he was lying to the guys. Because I
Right.
think the guys have like this little code amongst each other. I don't want to call it bro code because I don't think it's that. But they stand up for one another. But I
hmm
think they do that in the hopes that you're not lying. And when Eugene called out Scott, you had that picture on your phone.
Right.
Like it's on film. Scott, get your act together.
Exactly.
I don't want him to be my doctor,
Mm-mm.
honestly. Um. Okay, so then we get to Quad. No, Anila. Anila. Did we
I
do?
mean, yeah, we did that. We covered them. Like they weren't really involved in the
Mm-hmm.
story too much. They were just bystanders and giving a little bit of commentary. But I like them. I definitely want them to come back. I want to see more of the
Especially
house personally.
Kieran. Yes,
I want to see his dental practice. Not his dental practice. No,
his
his plastic surgery office.
plastic surgery. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see his office.
Do they make him pay to do that? To see that?
I don't think so.
Okay, just checking. Just checking. And then Quad, finally.
Yeah, Quad's just she'll be back full time next season. They
Did
know they
you
need her.
did you like when she told Toya that she got her 2 point something $1 million resort pad all on her own
Yeah, Toya's face
and
though.
working part-time? I was like, what?
And she told her straight up. She was like, "Cause I know how you." She's like, I didn't have to beg, borrow, and steal to get my house." She's like, "And I know we all know how you got your house." She's all
Mhm.
and when she talking about Morgan Stanley, talk to him. I was like, "Oof, oof."
Oof. But Eugene took offense to that. Wasn't there like an online something about that?
Yeah, like, well, he and Toya did a lie. They were drunk, and they were talking about Quad. And the thing is, and this is going to go into the next thing I want to talk about, is I have a firm, fast rule. I don't feel men should argue with women.
Didn't
I do.
Curtis say the opposite though? Was it
Yes,
Curtis?
yes, but the reason why is because you can say that, but
Mhm.
when a woman hurts your feelings, you feeling some kind of way
Oh.
because because Heavenly can dish a Quad too. That's why Quad told Eugene, like, you know what? She's like, I could do a man, woman, or child. We can do tennis all day. And he had no comebacks for that. And that's the reason why you don't do that, because most men don't have the verbal skills. Most men aren't wordsmiths. There are a few. And the problem with that is when men fight, there's no such thing as below the belt. With women, women try not to go below the belt. They're always conscious of it. Because I'll tell you honestly, I've gotten some verbal altercation. I tell people, if you want to do this, we can do it. But I will show you no quarter. And I've hurt quite a few people's feelings.
But Heavenly, do- she
Heavenly
just kind of
avoids the men.
unleashes.
But see, the thing with Heavenly is with the women is different. When it's woman to woman, man to man, it's
Uh,
the same energy. It's the
who
same energy.
who was it that she said I appreciated them because they had a problem with me, so they went to Damon. Who was that?
Eugene.
Eugene. Oh, okay. Okay. So
No,
Eugene
but
know the rules.
yeah, you see, Eugene knows, and that's the thing. That's why I don't believe in like doing stuff like that.
Hmm.
But if you insist upon it, then you get what you get.
No Starship. Oof. Oof. Them's fighting words.
Yeah, but see, Eugene interjects himself into things. If Heavenly and Toy got a situation, stay out of it. Let them
Right.
handle it. But once you get involved, you can't come back and cry hurt feelings. Don't don't try to compete where you can't compare.
Right. Okay. So we've got our next show in a few minutes. Let's like just wrap this up with like final thoughts.
I thought this season was
Um,
the perfect length.
yeah.
I wasn't bored. All three parts of the reunion were good. I was. This is this. Keep it like this.
I
Keep it
was
like this.
pleasantly surprised. It was good.
I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So guys, let us know your it was Quad and Toya, wasn't it?
So it was Quad and Toya, and then it was Heavenly and Toya. And
Uh,
Eugene has throughout the season have always liked to get involved in Toya's spats. And I'm like, well, don't do that because you don't really know what's said between the two, and then you just gonna get your feelings hurt. If you're not good with words, you're gonna get your feelings hurt.
yeah. Oh, Michael. I hope you can join us for Real Housewives of Potomac coming up at 7:45 p.m. Eastern and 4:45 Pacific, which is in a few minutes. But in the meantime, leave your comments below. Let us know what you thought of the season overall for Married to Medicine, the reunion. I was pleasantly surprised. This was a little gem this for the past few months. So loved it all. Don't forget before you leave, please give us a thumbs up. Right now, there's only 11. We need more. Come on. We need to push out our content out there so more eyes can look at it. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell a friend, and come right back in a few minutes for the Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay, my friend Jamal, until next time.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye.